what are the problems with sort of existing privacy services as you see it? Obviously, you gave me like the short version of what FIRN is. So, like, what are the problems you're trying to solve? Or how does FIRN try to address these problems?
Yeah, so there are many different metrics that you can evaluate a privacy project on, right? Obviously, you have things like is it actually correct? Is it actually secure? Things like that. But once you get beyond that, you have questions of efficiency, and this gets measured in a couple different ways. And you also have questions about the security sort of guarantees, right? For example, does the liveness of this protocol depend only on Ethereum's liveness, or does it depend on some sort of extra third-party infrastructure that the project set up, right? You even have subtle questions like, does this thing cache state in your browser or on your machine or not, right? If it doesn't, obviously that's better. So there are a bunch of metrics. I can try to sort of get to them one by one, but sort of the biggest one is how much work does your wallet have to do in order to learn your own account state and interact with the system and generate proofs and all those sorts of things. As I said, many metrics. I don't want to oversimplify it, but the sort of one biggest difference with FIRN is that because of our architecture, and we have a totally different architecture than other projects use, which again I can explain in a bit, but because of it, our client, which runs in the browser, in an application that you access through your browser, is extremely efficient. It can learn your account state by downloading just an extremely small amount of data. It doesn't have to sort of synchronize and catch up, right? So many other projects, you need to stay online and keep sort of downloading stuff in order to stay up to date and cache all that, right? And then if you turn your computer off or disconnect and then rejoin like a month later, let's say, you then have to, first of all, use your checkpoint that you cached a month ago, and then download all the new stuff and sort of bring your data up to date. All of this is really problematic because of data download requirements, computational requirements, data caching requirements. FIRN, on the other hand, is totally stateless. You can log in from a completely brand new device. You can download your state in like under a kilobyte. It's really tiny, and it's extremely efficient.
Right. So, yeah. And I mean, just as an example, like before Aztec was deprecated, you could go in the support channel on Aztec and you would just see endless messages of
just pages
and pages of my account won't load, or I sent a transaction and it's been waiting for 5 hours. It's just spinning.
Or like I deposited a month ago and I still don't see my funds. Right.
So
right.
What is it? Is it you were talking about caching? Is it the complexity of it that is doing this?
It's mainly the download complexity, right? So it's the amount of data that your client has to download in order to essentially assemble your account state.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So and for Aztec, in Monero, a bunch of other UTXO privacy protocols, it'll be megabytes of data, huge download requirements. And, for a lot of people who just don't have fast machines, or they have old machines, or, their cache just can't get that big. Sometimes people literally just would need to go buy a new computer to even use the service.
Yeah, and there's another side, which is who are you downloading from? Okay, so this gets into further sides to this. Aztec has had third-party infrastructure that sort of helped this whole thing run. They called it a roll-up. Actually, I think that term is actually kind of misleading. I think maybe the word indexer or something like that is more accurate. It was a third-party server that Aztec ran that would help sort of serve data to these clients in a more packaged form than what the blockchain can sort of serve directly, right? Like when you go on Etherscan, it will sort of nicely list out, for example, like every transaction that went to this contract or something, right? But there's no query you can make to a full node that would actually give you that, right? You can query sort of what is the storage value now of this contract or something, but the API that you actually get with a full node is much more restricted than what you see on Etherscan, right? So this is a case where you have an extra layer of indexing that is on top of the sort of raw blockchain infrastructure, and Aztec needed this in order to keep their thing running and to serve the appropriate data to clients, right? So this is another big difference, is that when you are synchronizing your Aztec state, you're downloading stuff from their indexer, not from a node or from the blockchain directly or something like that. And there are, first of all, privacy implications of this, because you can't control who you're talking to as easily. And also there are liveness implications. For example, if their server goes down, or if it's not, the internet is not good for them, then that's a problem, right? Now with FIRN, in contrast, on the one hand, you only download, say, under a kilobyte, but who do you download it from? Just from any node, right? So any Ethereum node can serve you the data you need in order to run your FIRN client. So this gives you much more robustness and also better privacy, because you can, either run your own node or connect to your favorite node instead of having to connect to Aztec's proprietary software.
Unchecked governments have eradicated privacy and truth. Those who resist are brought down swiftly, but we refuse to submit. Unipunks are freedom fighters, protected by encrypted shadows. The future we're building is sovereign and uncensorable. The moonlit night is coming.